If you want to make 10K per month with a personal brand, I have good news. It's never been easier. But most people, they just don't start. And it's not because they're lazy, it's because they have no idea which direction to go. Now, when I started, I was just like you, a regular employee in a tech sales company. But one day I had enough, so I just quit. I left everything, my 6-figure tech sales job in Silicon Valley, and moved over to Asia and really took a chance on myself to build an online business. And now here I am filming this video in Vietnam for you today, and I'm running my business entirely online. And the truth is, this all started to click when I started leaning into my strengths, my story, my skills, the skills that I already had. My personal brand really started to take off, and that's when I started to make a real income, an income so good that I decided to leave my 9-to-5. So in this particular video, I'm going to show you the exact path that I personally coach my clients to go from zero and having a 9-to-5 job to building their own business and making 10K plus per month using a personal brand, content, and selling high ticket offers. And we're even gonna use AI to do most of the heavy lifting. Now, if this speaks to you at all, I actually put together a free training that walks you through the entire Founder X system that will show you exactly how we work with our clients to help them go from a 9-to-5 to starting their own business using a personal brand and AI to make 10K plus a month. So the link is in the description to watch that training. And if it makes sense from there, you can actually book a call with me and my team, and we will build a custom strategy for you to plan your escape to build your own business and live the life that you always knew you were meant to have. But for now, let's go ahead and get into the video. Starting things off, you need to understand how fast and big the creator economy is going to be. And when I say creator economy, that just means people who create content and make a living from it. You want to think of people like Mr. Beast, for example. They are creators, but they can build legitimate businesses with their personal brand, right? Right now, it's the greatest time in history to make money online. It just is. The internet's becoming more and more popular. People are consuming content on social media like YouTube and LinkedIn, and it doesn't matter which platform, like everyone's, consuming. And so personal brand is the vehicle. It's like when you go on Instagram, you want to follow people, and if you like them, you buy their stuff. That's just the way the world is working now. So if you're not using that, you're not creating content, you don't have a presence online, you're going to be left behind. Now, here's how the world is changing. In the past, you had to have a lot of followers in order to make money, right? There wasn't really a lot of niche creators when I started out, like 7 years ago. But now, literally, anybody can become a creator in any niche. You can be an expert in Google Sheets, accounting, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, right? There's so many different niches where you can actually provide value to people and they will pay you money, assuming you actually help them out in some way, right? Now, to give you some stats, in 2025, the current creator economy is about $225 billion. By 2030, so 5 years from now, it's going to practically double to 525 billion. So that means imagine the creator economy was at zero and then it became what it is now, like nothing from something. That's going to happen again in the next 5 years. So you see how massive that opportunity is, and a lot of people aren't catching on and they're not making the content. But you'll notice that some people are smart and they're taking advantage of this. You might have a friend who was like just a regular employee, and then one day they started making content and now they blew up and they became famous. Like, how does it happen? It's because the demand for people who want to consume content is increasing every single year across almost every single category. So now is your opportunity to ride that wave and to be the top person in your niche and just, ride that momentum. You don't even have to be the best. You just have to be early, and you are early if you are starting now to catch this wave. And the beautiful part about creating a personal brand, especially if you're transitioning from your 9-to-5, number one, you can use the skills that you already have that you learned in your job and start teaching it online. I started in tech sales. I started teaching tech sales online and I blew up my following. That's how I literally started. From there, I transitioned to different things like marketing, personal branding, aesthetics, creative direction, all the things that you see today. But I started in a narrow niche and expanded. Now, if you don't have any skills, or maybe your skills aren't marketable, or maybe you're just not passionate about the thing you did at your 9-to-5 job, you could take a step back and say, okay, what is it that I want to learn? Because you can learn something relatively fast, especially with ChatGPT as your coach in a way to learn things quickly. And you can create content online documenting your journey and eventually become an expert in 3 to 6 months and start charging money for a course, consulting, coaching. It doesn't matter what it is. Anybody these days can be an expert. You can be an AI expert. You can be a crypto expert. You can be, an anything expert, as long as you put in the time and the energy to learn and create the content and put yourself out there. Anyone who believes they cannot be an expert already lost, because they don't even believe in themselves. So there's no point. You might as well just close the video now and just go back to your regular life. But for those who actually want to make a change and they have on the inside, greater potential that they want to fulfill, Don't make excuses. Find a way. Create the content. Press publish, and it will literally change your life. I mean, it did mine. I used to have to drive to work, 1 hour every single day in traffic just to make cold calls at 8 a.m. in the morning. And now I'm living in Vietnam in a tropical place where it's sunny almost every single day. And I'm, going to Muay Thai, 3 days a week at 11 a.m., eating lunch and coming back to work. Like, that is the freedom that you get when you are building a personal brand, because you are in control of your own destiny. Now, I want to make this video extremely practical for you. I don't want it to be a video where you just watch it and do nothing. Let's actually take some action. So I created this ChatGPT prompt that you can use. You can literally copy and paste it, right? So copy this into ChatGPT and say, I'm exploring ways to build a personal brand online, an online business, right? Here are 5 topics I'm good at or interested in, and put in your 5 topics. It could be, Pokemon cards, sales, marketing, psychology. It doesn't matter. You can make money in any niche these days. And then you want to say, can you tell me which of these have strong potential for monetization? Give me real examples of people making money in each of these niches, whether it's coaching, content, services, doesn't matter what it is. Let's see how people are making money. And then from there, how might I turn one of these into a 3 to 10K per month business, right? It's a start. You got to get your first client somewhere. So all you have to do is copy this, put in ChatGPT, put in your 5 interests, and it will give you the results that you are looking for. So I went ahead and I'm doing this for you live right now and see what it's going to give. So in this example, I'm going to say I love sales, high-end collectibles, luxury watches, high performance people, and Muay Thai. So what can we do? Sales, monetization, extremely high. Every business needs sales. Cool. So if I was like, okay, I'm going to go in the sales direction, we already know we're going to make 3 to 10K. Okay. Now, and then it's going to give different examples of like different niches, like helping freelancers, could be offer fractional sales help, right? There's many ways to offer sales as a service, right? High-end collectibles, monetization potential, medium high, right? So niche audience, more affluent, and it's giving me examples of people already do this, right? So you can look at what they do, see how they make money, how they get attention, and take inspiration, right? You don't have to copy them exactly. Take inspiration to see what they're doing. Luxury watches, medium, insanely passionate niche, luxury watches, you can make a lot of money, right? Like there's many ways to make, like these people spend a lot. Now, high performance, high, if you're helping people become the best version of themselves, that's a niche, right? Like productivity, high performance, being accountable. Like everyone wants to be a high performer. Muay Thai, yeah, I would say it's kind of low unless you're like, it's kind of hard, right? It's very niche in a sense, but you still can make money teaching people Muay Thai, putting communities together, but it's not as easy. So, then it's going to make a recommendation. If you want to start fast, charge 3 to 10K. The best path for you is sales and high performance, and that's interesting. Muay Thai. How does that include Muay Thai? Fitness, I guess. I see. So basically what it's recommending is like basically teach people sales, help them become a high performer, add a flavor of like Muay Thai, being disciplined and stuff like that, not as the main thing, but as the sauce. So you can start brainstorming ideas of what things you can do. You shouldn't be like, oh, I don't know what content to make. Literally use my prompt, put it in ChatGPT, and it will give it to you. In fact, if you're watching this video and you sign up for the free training in the link in the description, when you sign up for that training, I will send you an email with all the prompts that we're going to use in this video, so you can literally copy and paste it so you have no excuses. So yes, put your email in the link in the description, sign up for the training, and I will deliver this to you. So now that we understand, we can find business ideas, we can figure out really quickly whether or not it makes money. Let's talk about your escape plan. Because if you have a 9 to 5, there's a lot of things you have to think about before transitioning into your own business. So the first thing is you need to confidently replace your full-time job, okay? Now, here's the thing. I wouldn't recommend quitting your job right away because it's not safe, right? Like you need an income, you need to live, and then you can leave. How I personally did it, and again, I don't recommend this, is I saved enough in commissions from my sales job, and then I just quit without an income source. And I spent an entire year trying to figure out how to make money online. And only after I had $200 in my bank account did I make my first $1,000 online. So I cut it really close, but I did pull it off, right? Now, that's probably really stressful for most people. And if you have responsibilities, don't do that. Instead, work on it on the side at night, whenever you have free time. And then when you make enough, make that transition. And the important part is to ask yourself, what is a high quality life? Because when I was making 6 figures in San Francisco, rent was really high, living expenses really high, taxes really high, like everything's really high, right? Even if you're making a lot of money, do you get to keep a lot of the money? Not as much, because the living expenses is higher. But if let's say you were living in Vietnam or Thailand or, some developing country and you're making less money, maybe you're actually keeping more money in the bank because of that arbitrage. Because if you go to a place like Vietnam or Thailand, your spending power triples. So you only need to spend a third of what you would spend in America. What is a high quality life? And calculate how much money you need to live well. Most important part of this whole process is to buy your freedom, is to buy your time back so that you can do the things that you actually want to do that progress you in your career and your life, and not be stuck in the golden handcuffs working for another person. That is the goal. Even if you barely survived, but you're doing it on your own, for a lot of people, that may be worth it, because if you can survive and just like make enough to live, with enough time and energy put into this, as long as you don't die, as in like, you run out of money or go broke, you will figure it out and you will find a way to make more money. So that's how I would think about it. I would think about, how do I make money on the side and how do I grow it beyond my current job? But if I move to another country where it's cheaper or another area, how much money do I actually need to live a good life, and how quickly can I do that? And the way I think about it is, your personal brand is a cash flow business. So you're not going to be able to sell it. No one's really going to buy it. It's going to be kind of weird if someone tries to invest in you and they take all the money you make for the rest of your life. So think of it as a cash flow business. When you're coaching, consulting, and doing courses, you're not going to be able to sell this business, especially if your face is on it. There are rare cases where some people have been able to do that, but 99% of people, not really. So just try to make as much cash as possible so you can save it and then deploy it to different opportunities if you want to do something else later. Or if you want to use your personal brand to create a business and use that capital to fund that business, do that. Because at the end of the day, when you build a personal brand, you should continue to build it for the rest of your life, because it's an asset that pays you dividends. So just in the beginning, don't think about scaling. Don't listen to people's advice saying like, oh, that doesn't scale. Like, you're just like a small business owner. If you have a 9-to-5 job that sucks, having a personal brand and making 10K a month will completely change your life. I don't care what anybody says, because you buy back your freedom and you have time to think and do the things you want to do. So just focus on getting that first client and get a taste of making money online, and then start to reflect on which direction you should go. But if you're in the beginning stages, nothing else matters besides getting clients. Now, if you're planning your escape, we kind of covered the financial aspects of it, but let's talk about the time auditing. Because a lot of people, they'll come to me and they'll be like, Patrick, I just don't have time to, build my own business. So let me give you a solution for all you complainers out there. You want to map out how you spend each hour of the day, from the time you wake up all the way to when you go to sleep. What are you actually doing? A lot of times, even if you have a 9-to-5 job, you're probably not even working 8 hours. You're probably working 4 realistically, going to lunch and hanging out, Like I had a 9-to-5 job. I understand what it is. So you can work during work secretly. You can work before work. You can work after work. Find the hours. I don't care how busy you are. You have to find the hours. Otherwise, your goals are not important to you. Then you slot in deep hours of work wherever you can fit them. And deep work is just like you're sitting down, focus. I don't care if it's an hour. I don't care if it's 30 minutes. You just focus on it for a bit. And just every day, you're building a house brick by brick, but eventually you will get somewhere. So before work, after work, during work, weekends, like everybody has the weekends, right? So like if you have Friday night and 2 days on Saturday and Sunday, that's 2.5 days. Like, don't say you don't have enough time. You do. You just have to break that mental barrier and find the energy and time to work on your goals. And here's a masterful tip I have for you. Cut out the things that don't support your goals. So if you're spending 3 hours a day playing League of Legends after work because you feel stressed, or you're drinking beers with your friends, how is that progressing you as a person? It's not. Cut it out. Don't bullshit yourself. Instead, replace your bad habits and things that don't help you get to where you want to go with things that actually help. So if you, let's say, go to the gym, that builds discipline, it builds muscle, it builds charisma. That's something that is applicable to your personality, which will help you become a better entrepreneur. So the key to this is find hobbies that progress you as a person. For me, I don't have many hobbies, but the ones I do have is fighting. I've been training in Muay Thai. I used to do boxing and going to the gym. Like, those are pretty much my 2 hobbies, right? That I actually spend a significant amount of time on. And both of those things improve me as a person. It makes me look better, feel younger, builds longevity, helps me live longer, and I learn how to fight and defend myself. And mentally, I'm stronger too. So find these hobbies that make you stronger. Like, a lot of people, for example, they're playing pickleball, right? Pickleball is like super popular, and I've played it a few times. Now, the funny part is that a lot of my friends that play, they get so addicted to pickleball, right? It's like a very dopamine driven game where every time you hit the ball, it's like a flash of dopamine, right? But the thing with pickleball is like, it's fun, it's cardio, but is it really progressing you? Is it really teaching you lessons? You can argue it does, but when I look at my friends and I see how they train, it's it's kind of like, what's the point? And it's not like you're even training properly, because like you'll say you want to be a good pickleball player, and then you're just like playing 5 hours a day without learning new techniques, not sleeping well, not exercising the right parts of your body to hit the ball better, but you're just playing and playing. It's like, it's the same as, I used to be addicted to video games back when I was a like high schooler. It's the same feeling of like playing, Dota All-Stars, which is the game I used to play for like, 5 to 10 hours a day. It's the same thing. You can say, oh, like I'm learning strategy, right? But really, is it really progressing you? Maybe not. So find the hobbies that actually make you a better person. That will make you so much more interesting as a personal brand as well. Now let's talk about the personal brand ecosystem. How does this all come together, right? Like, what are we looking at? What is this business even? So here's essentially how the personal brand ecosystem works. Your job as a creator is to get as much attention as possible, right? So all these little, people on the top, that's people watching your content, and you drive them to your Instagram page or YouTube page. It doesn't matter where. Once you have their attention, you're going to have ways to monetize, right? So like for me, for example, I say, click the link in the description to sign up for the free training and then book a call with my team. And on the call, we're going to talk with you. And if you're a good fit, we're going to work together. And then by working together, you're paying for coaching services. And if you pay for those services, then our company is making money by providing value and helping you change your life. So it's a win-win situation. So my job as a content creator is create as much high quality YouTube content as possible, and LinkedIn and Instagram and everywhere. Drive everybody to this sales page, essentially, which we get their email, they watch a training to see if it's a good fit. That's really all the game is. Now, when you're monetizing, there's different ways to monetize. There's low ticket, mid ticket, high ticket, right? So low ticket, let's call it, and everybody has different definitions, by the way. So low ticket, you can be like $1 to $99. Mid ticket, $100 to $1,000, and high ticket, let's call it $1,000 plus. But usually high ticket, it's usually much higher, like 2 to 5K, sometimes 2 to 10K, right? So depending on what you're selling, what your niche is, and who you're going after, you're going to charge different prices. So if you're doing, editing and social media management, you could charge $3K a month, no problem. Businesses will pay for that because the money they make from your services, they're going to make it back and then some. But if you're selling like a coaching program, or if you're selling like a, like an online course that's more general, like general productivity for the student, right, to study better, it's going to be low ticket. So you need a lot of volume coming in. So I would recommend just picking one offer, one price point, and selling as much as possible and making 6 figures doing that. And then trying to figure out, okay, like, do you need more products, or can you just keep growing that one offer? Okay. The price that you want to sell at really just depends on, who your audience is, how much volume you're getting, and what they're willing to spend. But generally anything over $2,000, right, let's call it 2 to 5K, you're going to have to sell them over the phone. And there's nothing wrong with that, because when you're on the phone, you really get to know somebody, understand their problems, and then you actually, convince them to buy, right? If it's under 2K, you can get away with a landing page and just selling something for like $500, right? I've done that before. It does work, so it just depends on what type of person you want to work with. Do you want to work with the high-end people, or do you want to sell to everybody in digital products? And also understand, the higher price that you charge, the bigger you have to make the promise, right? So if you're charging 10K, like, you have to provide 10K of value. But if you're charging, $100, like, even if the product doesn't even work, people aren't really mad, because like, it's just $100, right? Or if you sold like a $10 course, nobody really cares. And some people don't even watch, they buy it and they don't even watch. But if someone's spending 10K, they're going to want something from you, whether it's a service, like you're going to be coaching them for a long period of time, or like really help their business. So just keep those things in mind as you think about what price you want to charge. Now, when it comes to trying to figure out that offer and what pricing to charge, this is actually what I teach in the Founder X program. I've had clients that were 9-to-5 employees, and they had no idea about online business, and they didn't even know what to charge, right? They're like, oh, maybe I'll just do it for free and get a testimonial. And so when they joined the program, I would sit down with them and I would be like, okay, like, what are you good at? Cool. I think your offer should be this. And then we basically create the offer, and we said like, okay, like, we're going to charge like 2K for this. And most people, when they think about that, and my clients, they're like, who would pay me $2,000 for coaching? And I'll be like, well, who are you serving? They'll tell me. And I'll be like, okay, well, what problem are you solving? And they'll tell me. And I say like, okay, like, if you can actually get them the result, how much money more do you think you will make them? And they'll be like, a ton. Like, so for example, one of my clients, she helps people get high paying 6-figure tech sales jobs, right? So if you're helping someone get a job that pays 6 figures and you're only charging 2K, isn't that a steal? Because that person's going to make 100K plus. So like 2K is practically free, is it not? And so when I shifted her mindset about that, she's like, oh, wow, like, yeah, I never thought about it like that. And so that's how I get people to feel confident in charging high prices, by attaching the price to value and understanding that their value is much higher than they initially believed. And in the beginning, a lot of times you don't know your value because no one's given you money for it, right? But once you get that first client and you deliver the result, you're like, yeah, I can really do this. I am worth this much. In fact, 2K is too cheap. I should be charging 4, right? And that's typically how it goes with my clients. So if you want to also do that and you want to use your skills, knowledge, and experience and create high ticket offers, build a personal brand, and make money online, you definitely need to check out the link in the description for Founder X, right? I'm going to walk you through the entire process, step by step, what the roadmap looks like, how fast you can expect to get clients. And then from there, if it makes sense, you could book a call with me and my team. And a lot of the people I work with, they can get their first client within the first month if they really put in the effort. If that's something that's interesting to you, sign up for the free training, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Now, the next step of the process, now that you have an understanding of what to sell and the price points, is really what content you should create. Now, for the content you want to create, you want to think about your niche and your topic, and all you have to do is this. You write down all the pain points that your specific avatar has, right? Just make a big list. And then from there, once you have your list, you want to go follow other people in your industry and outside your industry, and you want to save all of their ideas, right? So for us, I'll have an account on YouTube where I literally just follow a bunch of people who are in my niche and outside of my niche that are doing cool stuff. Whenever they drop an interesting video that it's getting like an enormous amount of views relative to what they normally get, I steal the idea all the time, right? Steal like an artist. Like what that means is you look at the title, you look at the thumbnail, you look at the idea, and you think, why is it working? What variables can I take from this and apply to my niche, right? So if I see someone say, how I made 10K on Instagram with blah, 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 I'll be like, okay, I'll take that title and be like, how to make 10K with a personal brand with blah, 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 right? So same concept, same idea. You're not necessarily copying them because the content inside is completely different, but the packaging and the idea is the most important, right? So make a library of really good ideas as you think about what content to make. And then from there, you take all the pain points, you take all the inspirations, and you remix them all together to offer a new perspective. That is really the game of how all the biggest content creators do it. I'll tell you how they really do it. So if you see anybody with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, even millions, what they do is they follow small channels and they have a team looking for new ideas. And whenever like a small channel pops off and they're going viral, they take that idea, remix it, do it for their niche, and then they just keep stealing ideas. That's how the game works. If you're stealing an idea from a smaller creator, then it's not saturated yet, right? But if you're taking it from a bigger creator, probably like 20 other people already copied them. So that's why you have to be fast and see these ideas really quickly. And then from there, once you start posting content, and I would recommend just not worrying about the quality, just keep posting, and then you see what's going to work. When something starts working, you're getting more views and subscribers and followers, then you just double down on the thing that worked and triple down if it works even better, right? And that's all the game is. And a lot of times, if you look at my channel, I will just copy my own videos, find different ways and different angles, but really reuse the same content, because if I know something hit, chances are if I gave it a fresh perspective, it's going to hit again. So you want to do that with your own content, right? It's like you want to talk about the same 3 or 4 things over and over and over in 1,000 different ways. So now that we got the views, the next step is to monetize. You want to liquidate that attention and put the dollars in your pocket, right? So how do we do this? Number one important thing here is you want to focus on making your first $1, okay? If you're doing high ticket, it's going to be your first $1,000 or $2,000, right? But the idea is don't get so in your head about your price points and content and all these things that stop you. Only focus on what do you need to do to make money, to get that person's credit card, put it into Stripe, and send you money. What needs to happen? That's the only thing you should be focused on, right? Which is creating content and finding a way to talk to them. So in the beginning, if you're selling high ticket, the best way to sell is to get them on a call. So if you made a YouTube video on, how to get a high paying tech sales job, literally put your calendar in the description and say, hey, if you're looking to get a high paying tech sales job, I'm actually taking on a couple of clients, would love to have a chat with you. No pressure. Just want to learn about you, see if I can help. If that sounds interesting to you, I have a calendar link in my description. Check it out, book a time, and let's chat. And you'd be surprised. People actually book calls. And I had a client, he doesn't even have 1,000 subscribers. He just started YouTube. He literally just did that. And then he sold his first client like literally a week after working with me, and that video probably only got like 100 views and somebody actually bought something. You would be surprised how simple it is to actually do this. And there are a lot of people online that's going to be like, oh, like make money when you sleep, like automate, use AI all the time. Yes, there's a place for that, but in the beginning, just do it manually. Don't get caught up in the technical debt trying to learn all these different things. Use a CRM, run your business on a Google Sheet, a Notion document, and just book calls and close people. That's all it is at the end of the day. I kind of laid out the fundamental structure of how you can escape your 9-to-5, build a business, create an offer, create content, and then monetize. But for those of you who want to take the next step and you want to work directly with me and my team so that we can give you expert guidance and help you get results as quickly as possible through coaching, consulting, and courses, which is what the Founder X program is all about, you want to check the link in the description, because we have a free training where I personally map out the entire flow, the entire roadmap on how you can get started and get your first high paying client as fast as 2 weeks. I have many clients that have been able to do that. So if that sounds good to you, feel free to check out the link in the description, and I will see you in the next one.